I came back and once again, shout out to the video. God of War, Ragnarok, a brand new trailer came out the PlayStation State of Play. They held on to it to the very last moment, and I saw that controller. I was like, a controller? They showed the trailer right out there. This is my first impressions breakdown. I've seen the trailer like a few times here. But right off the bat, Atreus says everybody keeps secrets. But you also see later in the trailer, Kratos interrogates Atreus about what is he hiding. He's been following him, and it's just like, there's a piece of information that is missing from Kratos. That obviously, they've seen in the previous trailer where Atreus questioned Kratos about something, and they've been going back and forth. But in this case, it seems like we're getting more context of what the whole early dispute about. Apparently, Atreus has been keeping secrets, most importantly from his father. And we see Atreus touch a tree. It starts to freeze for some reason. I don't know why. And we see that Kratos takes off his Blade of Chaos on a pirate ship. Or some type of massive ship. Where did it come from? Who knows? Now, there are some interesting worlds that show up later on in the trailer. It could show that maybe Tyr, the way Tyr was able to travel all these worlds, see all these different type of things, he did use a specific type of ship. Maybe they're going through space. Who knows? But in this case, aside from a reference to Trevor Planet, there's some interesting worlds that show up that can't be from the stuff we've already seen. There's no way that's Schwarzheim. There's no way that's the land of doors. I could be wrong, but Atreus says you can't keep everyone keeps secrets, especially from the ones that you love. Now, I'll get to the point later on, but I do have a whole theory about what this game could be. He put down the Blade of Chaos. He put down the Leviathan axe. You see the Santa Monica logo, and we see Kratos free Tyr from his chains. Now, I thought he was just chained up, but apparently he was tied up by a rope. Now, there's obviously not no type of rope. It had to be some type of rope that's been enchanted by Odin, something like that. Maybe it's zapping Tyr's power, but Tyr is the North God of War. The difference is, unlike Kratos or Ares, Tyr seems like, especially in the first game, and seeing it here, seems like a more peaceful, friendly, more acceptable guy compared to the monster Ares turned Kratos into, and just the way Ares was in general. But he cuts the rope with the Blades of Chaos. And Tyr says, I know you, God Killer. Which we already know because Tyr had all those memorabilia inside Tyr's tomb. I think it was inside of the bridge in the first game. But we already see that Kratos broke that plot that depicted potentially him seeing Atlas in the underworld in God of War 2. Potentially. Because he was yelling at the ceiling. The pits of Tartarus also have a ceiling like that. Could be wrong, but it was a pot like that Kratos so carefully knocked over and said, Atreus don't need to see that. And it could be a game where Atreus get to truly see who his father is. For the last past few years, Kratos has played Mr. Good Dad, Mr. Good Weekend Dad, showing up when he needs to. And over the last past few years, they have been able to get a closer bond. 3 years of winter going to the Ragnarok. But in this case, it seems like Atreus get to truly see the magnitude of destruction Kratos have left behind in other worlds. And I'm excited for that. Because the whole God thing, you can see this and that, with this whole mental problems and him getting sick. And that's one thing, but seeing who Kratos actually is, the menace that Kratos has been for like 5 different games, seeing the weight of his actions, and the reaction of his son could be a major part of the game. And we see Kratos and Tyr open up a door, in which I knew Tyr was big, but this man's a monster. This man is pretty tall. But they open up the door. Now, some have theorized this could be the Light Elm, like a temple or something like that. Could be. Because we have seen the whole Dark Elf King. In this case, maybe the Light Elves have a Light Elf Queen. It could be a case of that. And those two will fight over light. And this could be the results of what happens when we give the light to the Light Elves. And maybe that Dark Elf King was right for giving the Light Elves a light was a bad decision. Maybe. Now we see Kratos fighting a brand new enemy, snatching the sword from this poor fella's hands, slashing them, and I hope they implement that thing from God of War Ascension where you could pick up the enemy weapons and use it against them, because Kratos does do this whole quick time event, takes the sword, and it cuts away. So this could be a case where he still is holding the sword and you can use it as an extra weapon, as a third option to mix up and match up some combos, in which one of my complaints to the first game was that, I don't know, compared to like the God of War 2 refined combat or even like Ascension would have been experimental. I felt like just like they could be more. I could play God of War, and it's just like going to God of War 2. There's not much of a difference, but there is a difference where it's just like it's obviously better than enhanced. In this case, I hope this is the God of War 2 to the first game. You're improving those combat mechanics, because the first two games had the exact same lightning attack, the same you get from Zeus. But it cuts over. We see Tyr. We're obviously going to be in around Elfhelm, because we should be going across that same light bridge that we had in the 2018 game. But Tyr is dragging a dead body, and that could be a dead body of a light elf warrior. Because we did see the dark elf warriors all across the game, even in Midgard and all these other places. So in this case, this is what happens when the light elves take over. You see the type of reign of destruction they brought upon Elfhelm. And then Tyr says while saying that, is it a god of war you've come to find? In which, like I said before, Tyr is not really a god of war as depicted in the games. He's more or less a peaceful traveler, seeing multiple cultures and things like that. We haven't seen him do anything with action. Even with all the pictures and the ruins, you never showed Tyr with a weapon aside from like a shield. Tyr says you don't really want war, and Atreus opened up the same door on which I'm surprised that Kratos have not moved. Ever since Baldur showed up, no, actually, ever since Odin gave Baldur the location, apparently everybody just have Kratos' street address and there's nowhere to pull up. When Atreus opened up the door, and we see this mysterious figure. Now I don't know who this is, no one has brightened up the image, but it could be a new interpretation of Odin. Could be Odin in disguise. We've seen Zeus pull the same act multiple times, but in this case, I don't know. As far as we know, it could be an older Loki, and he's just bald now. It could be. It could be an older Loki for all I know. Now that I think about it, it really could be. But it could be another one of the Norse gods. It's not one of the realms where I'm too put up on a different type of gods, but I really want to see what Asgard looked like, and I prefer to find out in the game before we start cracking some skulls. But who this mysterious guy is, it really could be Loki from the future, because if Jotunheim, because if Jotungander was sent back to the past when his battle with Thor, maybe Fenrir, Loki, and all his children was also sent back to the past. There's no guarantee we get to see Hela. Interesting thought though. But Tyr saying you don't want war. I don't know. Kratos has killed a lot. But then again, this is not Greece. And the way the Greece world worked is not the same way the Norse world works. So maybe Tyr knows some extra details that Kratos does not know, and maybe Atreus could also have the details. Or maybe this guy who's in the cloak, maybe this is where Atreus get the pendant from. Because Kratos, as far as we know, never see this guy, and there's no guarantee that there was an actually fight that broke out here. No guarantee. And we see Atreus look like a bunch of runes on the wall. Now, maybe it's just me. I think these are Spartans. I do have Norse runes on the shield, so I can't really say that, but the helmets do look like a Spartan. It really does. Maybe it was a rune to represent what they was going for, and it could be a case where Atreus is slowly, over the period of the game, learning more and more about who is Kratos, and the death, carnage, and destruction his father left behind. Which it wasn't his fault. It did start off with Zeus. Actually, no, it started before that. It did start off with Ares snatching his brother. Then Zeus crippling his mother, forcing Kratos to kill his own mother. And then the nightmares, the visions. Now, I hope they finally address the visions, because it's never explained what happened to the visions. The visions are just gone, as far as I know. But, do you, Kratos? And then Tyr says, all is that blood, as you see Atreus, on your hands. On your son's hands, and we see Kratos and Atreus prepare to take on. This could be a new version of some witches. It could be irritating to me, but it could be. But it seems like they're about to get surrounded. We've seen this cutscene happen with the ogre in the first game. It seems like it could be another case where you walk in here. And Kratos said, what is it you don't tell me, as Atreus looked down at this pendant. Now this could be like a rating in the Game 9 situation where this pendant was given by the boiled guy, which could be his future self. Or he got this pendant for something. As far as we know, we could have got this pendant from Freya. And Freya, maybe she want to change the past. Maybe Freya don't want war, and we'll get to that later in the trailer. And Atreus says, I can't talk about it. Another dispute in the same... It's not like we're still in Midgard, but early when I was arguing about it, it's like we was in a more clearing. And this is more like towards like the rocks and the mountains and clay type area. But they still have the same discussion, the same dispute. And Atreus says, I can't tell you, do you trust me? And we see these runes with Tyr. that Kratos and Atreus are looking at. There's been multiple different theories about what this is, and I don't know. We do see like a geisha. We see Tyr running with a wolf with horns, potentially, with a spear. First time we've seen him with an actual weapon. And we see the ruins of the World Tree, but some have theorized that last one all the way to the right, that could be a flooded Greece. I don't know about that, because that Greece flooding was, those mountains that look like that, there was no mountains at all. Those mountains just like islands. Could be wrong, but hey, maybe some more things can come out about this. And Atreus says, Kratos, you don't believe in it. And Kratos shows his conviction that I still follow you still. Doesn't matter whether I believe in you, but you're not telling me what it's about. And then Kratos says all that matters that you're safe. At least Kratos believes in his son's dream, unlike mine. In this case, we see Freya take the mistletoe necklace from Atreus, meaning either that these two characters got split and we get a chance to play as Atreus, or a fight happened with Kratos. And Kratos is getting back up, and Freya takes the necklace from Atreus. She has no hatred towards Atreus, but apparently, it's rather that she just fought Kratos, and he's coming back. These two got separated, and Freya make Atreus on her own, or I don't know, because it seems like, why would she want the mistletoe necklace? And I did make a video earlier saying, no matter what, with Ragnarok, Baldur does come back to life, similar to Thor's sons, and they all survive Ragnarok. But I'll get into the whole Ragnarok thing later. But it's interesting how Freya is taking a mistletoe tip necklace. And I question what she'll want from it besides from potentially bringing her son back to life. Because she has been crying. She's been upset. And then Atreus says that's not all that matters. Who's keeping you safe? Now, boy, you don't understand the magnitude of it. That's the thing. Kratos can't really die. He was cursed like 3 different times. He killed his own family. When he killed Hades' wife, that's another one. And he killed Hades, so the underworld of Valhalla does not exist for this man. He is not going there. And Kratos says, I do not need your protection. As those who get thrown, on which this could be taken. Now, you know them shortcuts in the first game? I forgot what they were, but it could be a new version of that. Well, Odin has sent the Valkyries after us. Now, these are live Valkyries. Or this could be this whole space idea, because it does look like the whole space thing. And we did get the whole intro sequence from Ascension, so it can go either way with that. But these two are sliding down, and the Valkyries fly up saying, and I believe they say pretender god. Well, Atreus says, are you sure about that? But why the Valkyries calling Kratos a pretender god when he actually is, unless the Norse don't recognize Greek gods in their territory? That doesn't really make any sense. But we get another fight with the Valkyries. I cannot wait, because I hated these enemies in the last game, and I prepare to break their backs. Now, which is an interesting question. If Kratos helped out all those Valkyries and helped free the Cream Valkyrie, why are we fighting them now unless Odin got something over them? Interesting question. But Kratos almost sliced off the edge, gets back up, as apparently it's whether they're interrogating or doing something to Atreus. Seems like there's about to be an interrogation on potential murder, but you know Kratos not gonna let that happen as he proceeds to rearrange this Valkyrie's face, because sadly Hercules will not be the last one. And Kratos clashes with his shield with some type of atrocity. This is an abomination of a creature. I can't tell what this thing actually is supposed to be. But he clashed with him, throw him back, leaving that neck wide open. You know, about to slice that fruit juice like a Pinky from Doom 2016. And we see Kratos pull out a classic attack from God of War, where he's not really spinning the blade Kalos around, but it is the whole attack where he throws him out in the X-shape pattern, and he's doing this in hell. Good to see some extra depth to the combat. And he runs at a Dark Elf. Wait, the Dark Elves are alive? They're alive? Apparently, it seems like Elfham may be getting a lot bigger. Because the Dark Elves are alive, but they're no longer control the light. Then what are the Dark Elves doing? And if we're fighting them, then I guess it seems like everybody in Elfham gonna have to die. It's tragic, but apparently they want it. And then it's still like they're in some type of, I believe this is some type of carriage that's taking them higher. Because they're like on horseback. We know these two don't travel on horseback. We don't use horses around here. But it seems like they're all in some type of, I forget what you would call it, some type of carriage to help bring you to the top of a mountain. Similar to like the first game, but more of a personalized version. Is there some type of lizard monster back at Kratos' back, getting his face rearranged, and he goes on to a happy trip. Goodbye! We have another new enemy as well. I don't know what to call this guy. I don't know what he is. He got some nice armor looking like the Lich King from World of Warcraft. But, I don't know where he is. And we get this excellent moment where Kratos throws the Blade of Chaos, leaps over like this classic God of War, comes down with the Leviathan axe and sends people flying. This is the type of gameplay I was waiting for. As Kratos grabs the crocodile, drags the crocodile over, and Atreus shoots his in his face. You should have aimed for the throat, boy. But sadly, Kratos would snap that neck for him. It doesn't make no difference. And Kratos picks up a rock and throws it, as Tyr says. Tyr says, what do you even know? In your lifetime, have anybody ever worshipped you? Actually, yes. Well, not really. He's that guy from God of War 2, but I don't know if they call that worship or he's just saying him as a leader. But technically, to your room. Have anyone ever prayed to you? He says. Actually, no. Out of anybody, I don't think anybody has ever prayed to Kratos. He might have lost his god powers, but he never lost his title. We get another brand new enemy from Muspelheim, since we're going deeper into Muspelheim. But the question is, where is Surtur? He's MIA. I want to see Surtur if we get a chance to see him. But there's a theory on why he might not show up. I have, personally. And Tyr says, can you even imagine that type of love? Well... And he says no. It seems like a dispute has happened. There's no way this happened when Kratos first found him. But it had to be some type of dispute later with Tyr where he's like, have anybody ever worshipped you? Have anybody ever prayed to you? Can you even imagine that type of love? No. The one time Kratos ever felt love in his life, besides from the recent time with Faye, they died. He killed them with his own bare hands. Because the Ares made him do it. And then his heart turned cold when in Chain of Olympus he had to throw away his ideal of a daughter for the world, for the gods of Olympus. The gods of Olympus did it to themselves. They've been messing with this man for a long period of time. Just so happened in God of War 2 he snapped. You claim you're going to take away the visions. Athena and Zeus, you never did your job, so what do you expect to happen? I'm mad and I want my just due. And Tyr says you don't care about anything beyond yourself. Beyond the monster who kills without cause. I don't know. Not really. Actually, no, yeah. Because in both Ghost of Sparta and God of War 3, you can kill regular people and actually get L from them. I cannot condone no type of actions, but hey, just Kratos was taking no prisoners at the time. He was just taking no. Look, they did it themselves. He was taking no prisoners. But it could. I cannot wait for Atreus to see this type of Kratos, the Kratos of his good old days. Not mentally wise, but as when trying to kill somebody. I want to see Atreus finally get to see who his father truly is, and see will he be able to accept that. Could he accept the monster his father is, and could he forgive him? And also, not cool in fact, what would be happening with Athena? This is the last North game on the duology, so I want to know what is Athena up to, because I believe it could be possible that Athena has ratted her fat mouth to Odin about what I've done, and Odin's over here beyond paranoid. But that's not my fault. She should have stayed back where she belonged, but now she's over here interfering with my business. Now it's personal. You're gonna have to die. And we see Kratos running a million miles a minute with somebody, and I can't tell you who this is. From first glance, it could be Tyr, but Tyr is a lot bigger than that. A lot bigger than that. And some people have put out it could be Agamotto. I don't think it's her either. Cause the guy Kratos carrying is big, but it's not Tyr big. Tyr is massive compared to Kratos. And Agamotto is like smaller than Kratos. So some have theorized it could be an older Atreus. Atreus could grow over the time of the game. That'd be interesting. But it seems like they're all escaping from Elfhelm, and the Light Elves aren't too happy about that. It seems like they're very upset. Very upset. It could be Atreus. He could have aged. Who knows? Could we do see that? Could be a possibility that these two split. And apparently the Woods are not happy. Kratos pulls out Atreus into the ship. The two wolves are running, on which they met in between book during the 3 years. And then we got this whole swimming section, which I theorize they could be going on the boat. And of course, you know what happened when Kratos goes on boats. Just like in Ghost of Sparta, they never survive. And they resurface. And we get this whole infamous scene Now, this is what I was talking about with the whole Ragnarok. Ragnarok might not happen in the game. What do you mean? If Fenrir's sons was because if Fenrir's sons was supposed to consume the sun and the moon, and is currently going through an eclipse, then why would Atreus reset the entire race and reset the sun and moon during the eclipse when Fenrir children were supposed to eat the sun and moon? Now, I can't remember if that's supposed to start Ragnarok or not. I could be wrong. But I do believe this adds to the theory that Ragnarok, as you envision it, might not happen. Because we got the same thing with Thor. Why is Thor asking Kratos for help? For what specifically? What is Athena doing behind the scene? And could we see a grown-up Atreus? And at what point does this happen in the game? Because Atreus shoots the arrow, and it resets Fenrir's sons chasing the moon, because one goes directly after the sun, and that's the light one, and they change the entire atmosphere. So if he's chasing that one, then somebody gotta chase the other one. And we see Kratos once again walking towards the light. He could be recharging the Bifrost, and we see that this could be a submarine, well, not a submarine, like a window towards the boat, because I don't see how Kratos could be able to see this part-time mermaid unless there's a submarine. No. There's a person who got this animal inside the aquarium. No. Or there's I forgot what it's called on the ship. What is like? It's like a port side window. Yeah, like one of those on the ship that we saw Kratos earlier take it out the blaze of chaos and the Leviathan X. Could be, but she shows up, and then we get this entire area covered by winter. Well, I don't think this is. I don't know. This could be on a World Tree branch, but I don't think this. I don't think we're no longer inside. We're no longer inside Midgard on the World Tree there, Toto. But I could be wrong. But I don't recall any hints towards any other realm looking like this. Even further than that, right? The next one, there's an oversized jellyfish with Mimir. Where is this jellyfish at? Where is this happening at? I don't know. This could be at the bottom, at the roots of the World Tree. And then we see Tyr and Kratos giving the classic Predator, both firmly grabbing each other's hands. Now, some people theorize, ask why is Tyr holding the Blaze of Chaos? It could be a case where he throws it up to Tyr and Tyr pulls him up. And that's why he's holding it, because it doesn't seem like Tyr's going to do anything with it. It doesn't seem like he's doing it in a violent manner. It could be a type of thing where, you know, they could still be talking, and I know who you are, Kratos, but it doesn't seem like Tyr has any malice intentions with it. And we see Kratos get thrown back, and him and Thor both throw their weapons at each other, and they clash midair. See the title screen? Come here, boy. And the excellent clash. That's amazing. The trailer is fantastic. Comes out in November in 2 months. But overall, my honest opinion, I don't believe Ragnarok is going to happen. I believe what Atreus knows, and he potentially gotten some type of knowledge from the future Loki, the one that Jotungander came from, the World Serpent, and that he is trying with the older Loki to prevent Ragnarok from happening at all. And what would Kratos and Atreus go from there? Who knows? So we know that Balder's supposed to come back to life, and which is the tip mistletoe arrow is what Faye needs to bring him back to life, then she would do it. Similar to how I'm glad we didn't see any Asgard or anything like that. I want to see that in the game itself. Similar to how we didn't see too much of Niflheim or anything like that, or Niflheim in the trailers. But I really don't feel like Ragnarok is going to happen. I feel like it's going to be an entire game that's going to prevent Ragnarok from happening. But then again, that's going to also cause some problems. Because Balder's supposed to come back in the action mythology, and which is what Faye is going to potentially help do, to bring back her son. But if that happens, then how much can you stop Ragnarok from happening, and how much you must let happen? Because Surtur is out there, and Surtur's gonna get his Surtur's gonna get his revenge against Odin. I don't know. I think they're on a certain time limit. If Surtur gets up, it's all over, in my opinion. I don't think Kratos can take him down in time before he gets to Asgard, because Surtur is mad. He is deeply upset, and he's not going to let this tomfoolery go on any longer. Similar to how if we're fighting Thor in Midgard, is he ever going to get a chance to fight Jotungander? Or this is before that? Or maybe the nice little peace talk Thor had got out of hand. Maybe he slipped up with some words. Maybe his breath smelled of liquor after he nearly tried to drink the entire ocean by accident. Who knows? I didn't think Thor is this tall. He's a big guy. He looks like a monster. He looked like Thor should, because the only description of Thor we have, he wears a helmet, and he got red hair and a red beard. That's it. He never had blonde hair like in the Marvel, because that comes from a Greek depiction, which did not follow the script. So that doesn't count. That's the only reason Thor has blonde hair in the Marvel series, and all other depictions is because the Greeks drew him with blonde hair, which is not how Thor is described. People, it seems like some things just don't change. Amazing. But overall, you got thoughts and opinions. This is like my first impressions, quick analysis or breakdowns, because overall, this is the trailer I've been waiting for. I think it's like that trailer where Atreus stabbed that dark elf in the head and they was climbing up the wall. It's just like it's like the trailer I'm waiting for. How this game going to start out, who knows? I am getting some MK9 vibes where it could be Atreus trying to prevent the future, but how much can he stop and how much can he allow happen? If that was Odin at the doorstep, it's rather Odin got an idea to prevent it, or maybe it was Odin who put it on his head, or maybe it goes back to the old theory I came up with where I believe that Atreus gonna die. It is what it is. The sad reality is the trials and tribulation of Kratos is always tragedy. Similar to how it could be Mimir, who's Kratos was carrying, because you didn't see Mimir on his hip. What was Mimir? Who knows? But if that was a grown-up Loki, then he'll be on Loki instead of Kratos, because he does have further attachment with the boy. So, and I think we will see an older Atreus, an actual Loki in the game. But we will get a chance to see hella Lokis of the children, because we do get to see Fenrir's children right next to Kratos and them, which deconfirmed the fact that those are the ones who were pulling the slave with Kratos and Atreus. But I know this game could go anywhere. Hope we get to use enemy weapons, because I know Tyr was dragging that same dead body that Kratos just butchered, done chopped up, and it's just, Tyr seems very peaceful. He obviously has some animosity to Kratos for good reason. But as far as good behavior goes, Kratos hasn't really done anything. He's been attacked, poked and prodded at, and just Kratos has just tried to survive. So he was guilty, but he was given a clean slate, kind of, sort of. Similar to the Blade of Olympus, it should still be out there. I really want to know what Athena's doing, because I don't believe Athena is just going to let Kratos go without ruining his life. That's just not going to happen. It's similar to how they never answered the question of what happened to the Visions. The Visions that Kratos was mad about. The Visions that has never escaped since he's murdered his family and the Oracle. Like, whatever happened to the Visions? Up till God of War 3, Kratos had the Visions. God of War 2, before you reset the timeline, Kratos had the Visions. The Visions never went away. The gods never did fulfill their promise. Not including all the stuff that Zeus did, everything. And Hades had good reason to kill Kratos. He did kill his wife, who were trying to destroy the world. Hades, that was your fault. You couldn't keep the women in line, and then Kratos had to clean up your sloppy work. And Atlas is still down there, boy. Shout out to rich homie Atlas. He's holding it down. Actually, in this case, he's holding it up. And what you got thoughts and opinions about the game? This got me even more hyped up and ecstatic. I was geeking out. I was like, come on, man. It was amazing. That last image with Thor and Kratos, magnificent. But Epo review is out, and hope you